Hello everybody, it is I, Amol, and this is a draft analysis for the comeback of BBR. That's right, BBR is back once again for Gen 9 with a new, not a new format as a whole, but a new format for this generation. So, as you know, we have played several times in BBR, especially this gen, considering this one of them I won the whole thing one time, literally last year. Man, time flies by so fast. But this time, we're not going, we're not going like standard. We're not doing low tier. We're not doing Ubers. This time, we're bringing out the kids to work so that they can beat each other up in the daycare. Yep, that's right, we're playing Little Cup. And as you know, Little Cup is a very special format. Like your Pokemon all fights at level 5. It's only the pre-evolved Pokemon of each and every line. So no Pokemon that are fully evolved, no Pokemon that are can technically evolve or evolve themselves, and no Pokemon that have no evolution and no pre-evolution. It's really just the babiest of the babies. And on top of that, also let's go over the other special rules. So as you would expect, in such a baby field format, the most popular item will be the Eviolite, because it will work on everybody to boost their defenses by 50%. So in every LC league that we have done, there has always been a rule of only 2 of the same item per team at limit. So for instance, there can only be 2 Eviolites on the team as a whole, there can only be 2 Choice Scarves, 2 Life Orbs, etc, etc. And also, by the way, one of the reasons why we never run LC this gen until now is because Shuckle isn't in the game. It's not because Shuckle, of course Shuckle cannot play in Little Cup, but it has a signature item called the Berry Juice, which normally it sucks. It's like a consumable item that only restores 20 HP. But in Little Cup, that's essentially just a max potion. The moment you drop below 50%, even if you have 1 HP, you're more than likely to go back to full health thanks to this. It's a very powerful item alongside the Eviolite, but because Shuckle isn't in the game, and Game Freak didn't do anything to include the Berry Juice whatsoever, well, the item isn't available. So the closest resemblance to this is the Oran Berry, which I know is a funny item to say, but in Little Cup it really is the stronger healing item. Like, all Pokemon will be in the 20s for their HP, so 10 will more than likely be nearly half their health that they'll be able to heal off. So if you consider that the Citrus Berry is only 25%, so more than likely 25% will be like 5 or 6 HP healed. This Citrus is just worse than Oran. But yeah, without further ado, you're here for the draft, not for me to yap about the Pokemon. You see on the screen, literally from the beginning, for my first pick, I got Cutiefly. And also, I guess something I have to mention, there's 16 coaches, but we didn't draft from the same pool. We got separated in pools of 8. So you're gonna see some Pokemon that are gonna on more than one team. So I'm not the only Cutiefly player basically. But for my position, I was able to get it, which I thought was the best Pokemon for me to get. It's one of the fastest Pokemon in the tier because of how the stats work. Cutiefly reach a maximum of 19 speed, which is the second highest speed tier of the Little Cup, with only a few Pokemon capable of outspeeding it, and a few more that ties with it. So it's a very solid bring. And also, because it's a Fairy type with Moonblast, it will hit very hard. Despite normally Cutiefly not having a high special attack, it will hit very hard and fast. Especially because the Fairy resist in LC, well, not all of them are good. The stronger Poison or Steel type, for the most part, are sorry, the screen was getting black. us- usually like the more stronger steel and poison actually a secondary type that makes them neutral, like Poniard, Stunky. Like these guys are good but don't resist fairy. So you have to go like in the lower tiers of LC to find a poison type that do resist fairy or a steel type. Like mainly a poison because most of the steel type are not that good anyway, so people just settle on poison types. And that's good for Cutie Fly because Cutie Fly learns Psychic. So he has the coverage for this. And of course, the valuable Sticky Web, which can be very powerful if not holding boots, making the whole Cutie Fly's whole team much faster. And also something worth to note, Cutie Fly learns Quiver Dance. A very powerful setup move, so strong in fact that Cutie Fly should not be allowed to use it. Yeah, it's either we ban Cutie Fly as a whole, or we complex ban Cutie Fly from using Quiver Dance. So we allow Cutie Fly, but no Quiver Dance. I mean, it still learns Calm Mind, so don't be surprised if you see like me running Calm Mind and not Quiver Dance. I'm not allowed to have the strongest setup move. And also, by the way, you're gonna see some spoilers a bit for my week 1 match. I just tried to settle the to get the Pokemon in game for most of them, just to do this draft analysis. So you're gonna see some spoilers from week 1. But it's okay. I don't mind. It'll be next week anyway. You guys are used to me by now. But yeah, first pick Cutie Fly. Next, I wanted a Pokemon that can punish the that could punish. I said could because it's not standard where you can have Pokemon that are tankier. The look up, it's a way more volatile tier. But in a way, I still want a Pokemon that can mostly deal with those poison and steals, and even fire types that resist Cutie Fly's Moonblast. So of course, I need a ground type. I was thinking about getting Trapinch, because what better ways of dealing with them by trapping said fire resist? But instead, I went with Drillbur. The reason for this is that, of course, Trapinch hits much harder, but Drillbur is faster and has the utility of Rapid Spin, which can be good for Cutie Fly if I don't want to deal with like rocks or even opposing webs, because webs are pretty common in the Little Cup. And of course, Drillbur's Earthquake hits pretty hard, and it can also set up rocks for the team. It's just a ground type with good utility, which I think is a good fit for a team. Next, I grab a Lowland Grimer. One of the... Yeah, it's definitely... I did say the poison type are good for those fairy types, but I grabbed one that doesn't resist it. But for me, that's okay. Knockoff is very strong. I mean, I know Knockoff is strong in general, but in the lookup, it's even more so. So having Grimer, which is one of the better user of the move, is totally worth it. Also, it's pretty tanky. Like, Muk is known to have very high speed def. Grimer doesn't have that. It has equal defense and speed def, but that still makes it like a very solid amount. Like, at least only having Wild Weakness and such a strong move to spam, it essentially it's like a strong glue mon. Like, if I think there's a Pokemon that can be annoying to like beat, I can soft check it with Grimer essentially. So that's the reason why I went with it. It's just a good neutral Pokemon to have that can just be there in case things can go wrong in the builder. And then next, it seems like a weird pick to get, but for my fourth pick, when it was my time to pick, I really had no idea what I wanted. But there was one Pokemon that I thought could be very funny to use, and that's Gimme Goal. Now, as you know, Goldengo is a very strong Pokemon. You know, like the Ghost Steel typing, Goldust Gold, the Make It Rain, everything. Gimme Goal has none of that. None. Not even Recover. Its move pool is also very shallow. Like, Shadow Ball and Hex are of course good Ghost Stabs, but after that, it's Power Gem and Terra Blast for coverage. And for the rest of the moves, you have like Nasty Plot, Screens, Sub. This Pokemon has a very limited move pool, so why did I draft Gimme Gold then? Well, of course, it's a Ghost type, so that way I can like spin block opposing Pokemon. But that's not the main reason for this. Gimmighoul is the only Pokemon in Little Cup where it is allowed to use either form for depending on my choosing. And yes, for those that don't know, Gimmighoul does in fact have a different form. The roaming form and the chess form are interesting. So the one that you're able to just get by playing the game normally, the chess form, is the bulkier form of Gimmighoul. It's very slow but pretty tanky for what it is, which makes it the better rapid spin block it because at least we don't have to worry about switching to Gimmighoul, not take a spin but for a real attack. Gimmighoul will at least take it. Plus, its ability is Rattle, which gives it a speed boost when hit by like a Ghost, Dark, or Bug move. With knockoff being prevalent, that could be of course worse. Like, I know I said Gimmighoul, the chess form is very slow, but if you're behind webs and Rattle's activated, suddenly you don't feel as slow as you are anymore. But what are the strengths of the roaming form? Well, one thing that is worst about it is that its ability is Run Away, which is basically useless. But it still shares the same move pool as the roaming form. I mean as a chess form, I mean. The one advantage it has over the chess form is its superior speed stat. It hits a speed stat of 18, which is a very high speed stat, just behind QD Fly. So I can either bring a bulkier Gimmighoul or a faster, more immediately threatening Gimmighoul, depending on which form I think is better. So yeah, that's the reason I thought it could be cool to grab. I basically have a 2-for-1 that can just accomplish different roles into one slot. So hopefully, I hope I do get to do some cool stuff with Gimmighoul. Like, I know I say its move pool is limited, but with Little Cup, Ghost Spam can be pretty good. It can work. But yeah, that's Gimmighoul. Next, the Snover. There is some explaining to do. Like, when it was my turn, like originally, like, the people that drafted like near me, after me would have been D-Ray, where D-Ray has, I mean, he had an Alolan Sandshrew on his team, and I know some people in the chat were like, hey, Amo, you should definitely grab Snover to prevent D-Ray from having a Snow Setter for Sandshrew. And I said, you know what, sure, so I drafted Snover, but then D-Ray and Joey hit us with the, actually, we're gonna try your Pokemon together, so D-Ray swap is Alolan Sandshrew with Joey's Mankey, which, now that I say it like this, it sounds like I just got like trapped or anything like that, and I just ended up with a Snover. In reality, not really. I was considering Snover in general anyway, even before all of that, because I wanted a grass type to help me beat some water and ground types. I thought Snover could be cool because offensively they will give me, you know, like also an ice type, so I have, you know, priority ice shard, plus a Pokemon with snow warning, meaning that for the few weather team that could potentially fight, I would have a weather of my own in the form of, you know, ability weather. And again, it's not like a pick that I regret at all. I was considering Snover. It can also be a solid choice card by playing Blizzard. And also, it could also work fine alongside QD Fly. Like, it shares most of the same check as QD Fly, mainly Steel and Fire types. So like, I can have potentially Snover weakening them first, and then have QD Fly clean up. That's something that can happen. And also, it takes advantage of the Snow Defense boost to give it a pseudo Eviolite in a way. But there is one thing that sucks about it, is that unlike a Abomasnow, it doesn't learn Aurora Veil. But that's okay. I don't regret picking up Snover. I think it'll fit just fine. Then next, fighting types are pretty strong in Little Cup. One of the few that were left was Riolu, so I went with it. So, as you know, Lucario is like one of those Pokemon that can hit very hard on either physical or special side. Riolu is mainly a physical attacker because his special attack stat is actually way lowered than his attack stat. Plus, his move pool is very limited. But it has what he needs on the physical side at least. It's really just on the special side that sucks. But Rielu's main niche over Lucario for Little Cup is that it has Prankster. Now, usually, Prankster is really more effective, like, in double battle because you have then, like, coaching with Prankster. In Little Cup, you use Prankster Copycat. Essentially, you use a move of Riolu, then you Copycat with priority, and essentially you always move first unless you face a Dark type, because even if you call Close Combat from Copycat, it will still be a Prankster boosted move, therefore the Dark type will be immune to Close Combat if it comes from Copycat. But that's okay, Riolu still has a natural matchup against Dark type naturally anyway. But it can be very solid. The next, Axew, a very strong dragon type, which something originally I thought about wanting like a Lidleo on my team because that gives me a fire, that gives me a normal type are actually pretty strong in Little Cup. But instead, I want to Axew because I've realized that the board of Fairy type was like nowhere near existent. Like there were many teams that forego a Fairy type and even a Steel type, so like a Dragon type could go crazy, so I swapped and got Axew instead. Which, I mean, I know it's a Dragon type. It hits very hard. Axorus is known to have a very high attack stat. Axew, by comparison, has a very high attack stat for the lookup. So yeah, it's a Dragon type. It's like, imagine the time before Fairy type exists, that will be potentially the time for Axew to do similar stuff. And then lastly, no, not lastly. So much for me saying lastly. But yeah, those passes next. So, like I said, normal type are strong in the lookup, mainly because the steel types are not good, and I mean essentially, the normals have coverage for their resists, so they can crush almost anything unless they get crushed first. But I still went with nose pass because it's a resist, alongside giving gold for the immunity. But also, it's another stealth rock user, so I don't have to burden Drillbur with rocks. And also, it has sturdy, which, in a pinch, I can have a boot sturdy set to soft check any Pokemon. So yeah, that's no surprise. It's a rock. It does rock stuff. Okay, and now lastly is Slowpoke. I wanted a water type for the end. Slowpoke was the better one I could find. It is pretty tanky, it has regen. It doesn't do the same stuff as Slowbro or Slowking does. But what's something funny it can do over its evolved form is that Slowpoke actually has a higher attack stat and special attack, so I can run physical moveset on it just fine. But of course, I can still run special moveset, because on the special side, Slowpoke has better coverage, or I can use stronger moves. But yeah, that's the team. I'm not gonna delay this any further. So we're gonna see the week 1 match for next week. Of course, after you guys see the job goes. So yeah, that's it for me. I will talk to you guys for next week for a week 1 matchup. So I will see you guys there later. Bye bye.